artillery, examine the terrain. Watch a campaign with the man Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine in the membrane. Tim Kaine in the brain.
Who created? I don't know who created Pokemon Go. But I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened.
And I have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you'd like to see, help out, and now vote for the other Biden.
I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.
Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your everybody comes in your everybody comes in your grandmother. $7 million for reef fish management. $25 billion to combat Asian carp, $2.5 billion to count the number of amberjack fish, $2.5 billion to count the number of amberjack fish, $2.5 billion to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your grandmother. He's like this, and we will, and he's mutter, help. They're coming all over the place. They're coming all over the place. They're coming all over the place. And he's like this, we will, they're coming all over the place. And he's like, they're coming all over the place. And he's like, and we will, they're coming all over the place. And he's like that, we will, I need one. They're coming all over the place.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand, and to get hot, I got hairy legs that turn, that turn eggs, that egg turn, that turn. Get hot, I got hairy legs, 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 I got hairy, I got a lot of, I got hair. I got hairy legs that turn legs that turn that turn. Got hairy legs. Roaches. I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved 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 kids jumping on my lap. Kids jumping on my lap. And to get hot, I got hairy legs. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. I got hairy legs. You haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but you're now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes. Really? And I resent.
Are you talking about Hunter? Are you talking about Hunter?
I'm talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're talking about.
I don't know Bo. I know Hunter. Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true.
For
it wasn't
cocaine use, and he didn't have a job until you became vice president.
But I think the juxtaposition, versus some of the things that we've canceled recently. Some pussy and with the leaking pussy, that's all okay. The whole thing and the girl dancing in the shoe up and the whole thing and the girl dancing in the shoe, juxtaposition of that and the woman the woman dancing in the shoe. We get rid of all of these things and then we say but the woman with the leaking pussy and the bucket and the mop and the whole thing and the girl dancing in the shoe of that and the woman dancing in the shoe with the money flying at her. The juxtaposition of that versus some of the things that we've canceled recently.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Can you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there, people. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. Tweet. That was an opinion of somebody.
I would say, I'm not a beta male. I would say, I'm not a beta male. I'm not a beta male. You know, you're a beta male.
Beta.
I'm not a beta male. I'm not a beta. I'm not a beta male. I'm not a beta male. You know, you're a beta male.
Beta.
Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No.
All of a sudden, we can't talk about Neanderthal DNA anymore.
I eat extra sharp. That's why I eat.
It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television. Make sure you have the record player. The record player on. The record player on at night. Play the radio. Make sure play the radio. Make sure the television. Make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words.
Hello, users, and welcome to another episode of Above It All. Folks, we are here once again with a live stream. This is a stream. It's live. You can see, there's data coming into your fucking brain. Imagine what's happening right now. Imagine, this, traveling back in time, right? And then, it's, fucking 1624, right? And, you're trying to explain to some stupid-ass bitch about, oh, yeah, I watched Above It All back in my time. They go, what? That's what they say. So, yeah, so there's electrons, right? They exist, and they're, doing something. And then, all of a sudden, I'm in your brain. If you have headphones on, I'm literally in your brain right now. Close your eyes. Wait for it. Close your eyes. And I'm still there. I'm still in your brain. I'm speaking directly to you. It's incredible, folks. It's incredible. So, we've got a live show here. And bada boom, right? That's what's happening. So, thank you all for showing up. I appreciate it. Showing up, showing down, and, dressed like a clown. You know what I'm saying? So, yesterday, let's get into the recap, folks. Yesterday, was day 121 of protests in the city of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, in the county of Pasquotank County, North Carolina, over the police assassination of Andrew Brown Jr. that took place on April 21st, 2021. And we had 121 days in a row. So yesterday was a pretty jam-packed day. For those of you that watched my show yesterday morning, I did a show a lot earlier than typical because I was attending the senior sit-in at the Sheriff's Department. And so now, information from that is, so we had someone show up a little earlier, and I met up with them later. And when they asked about Tommy Wooten's availability, he's the sheriff of Pasquotank County, when they asked about Tommy Wooten's availability, they said, the person at the front desk said that he was calling in sick. So last Thursday, Tommy Wooten talked to us, right? We had a 35-minute conversation. This Thursday, he calls in sick. So then, wait for it, the plot thickens. So then, Tommy Wooten's driver, you heard that correctly, Tommy Wooten's driver walked into the sheriff's department, and then so he was asked, that's he being Tommy Wooten's driver, was asked if Tommy Wooten was going to come in, and they said, yeah, but he's running late. So, did Tommy Wooten tell the person at the front desk to lie to us? Was he actually sick? Did the driver miss the memo? What's going on there? So, we waited around until around 11:40 and then we left. And so, but there was also stuff going down at the courthouse because some of the protesters that have been arrested in the first couple of weeks of protesting had their court dates. And to my understanding, I was not in the courtroom the entire time, but to my understanding, what happened was a couple of the arresting officers just didn't show up. Also, the judge was 30 minutes late, but some of the arresting officers did not show up. So they were trying to do a case, going after people for protesting, and the people that have the witness testimony, right, they weren't there. They just didn't show up. So I don't know what fully happened with that stuff because I wasn't there. That being said, it was a whole shit show. The Elizabeth City Police Department is trash. I want to be very clear, and this is my personal opinion. The Sheriff's Department killed Andrew Brown Jr. The Elizabeth City Police Department arrested people illegally. The mayor of Elizabeth City put a state of emergency out and asked for hundreds of riot cops to come in from out of town, right, to brutalize, to beat, and to illegally arrest and detain protesters and media. So, again, I just want to be very clear that there are different departments. The Sheriff's Department is the one that killed Andrew Brown. The Elizabeth City Police Department is the one who basically illegally arrested dozens and dozens of protesters for no reason. And put people in danger, threatened to attack protesters. They brought out and drew weapons on protesters at several points. So, all cops are bastards. Not just the Sheriff's Department, not just the Elizabeth City Police Department, but all departments. All cops are bastards. There's not a single exception. But either way, yesterday was the 121st day of protesting in the city of Elizabeth City. We have been doing these marches. We're at a phase right now where we're just getting it done. This Saturday, that is to say tomorrow, will be the 4-month anniversary, day 122. The 4-month anniversary of Andrew Brown Jr. being shot and killed. Again, he was killed on April 21st, 2021. And so August 21st, 4 months later, that's what's happening. So, but either way, yesterday's demonstration was pretty good. It's something. Again, this is a moment in history, and it's just incredible to see such a small town. At this point, I mean, we're in a situation where mostly the people who are attending these marches are older folks, more seniors, and so we've been doing a little bit shorter demonstrations, but the energy levels are still there. They're still high. But some of the older people aren't willing to walk for 4 hours, so we're usually doing 15 to 30 minutes. But we walked downtown. We walked around the courthouse. Again, the courthouse, which housed a lot of the protesters earlier in the day. Some of the staff and some of the people were still in there at the time. And so that's how it went. And overall, it was a pretty good demonstration. Huge fan. Again, we're going to be out there again today for day 121 and tomorrow for day is it 123? What day is it? Did I fuck up my numbers? Was yesterday 120? No, yesterday was 121. So tomorrow will be 123. Anyway, folks, that's the recap from yesterday's demonstration. So the Elizabeth City Police Department used to give permits on the same day, and they stopped, which means we have to go through the process of waiting 45 days. Well, the old folks are not willing to march in the streets if it's only 6 of us without permits. So, I mean, that's the factor. Alright, folks, we got a show here. 45. No, it's always been 45. Alright, this is an interesting one. Trump fundraising email compares American soldiers or American teachers to the Taliban, and it's an explicit invitation to violence. This is from a Raw Story. The Trump-controlled Republican Party, other American neo-fascists, and the white right more generally are continuing their attack on the bogeyman, also known as the boogeyman, and moral panic known as critical race theory. That is to say, they are against teaching children history, and they are more in favor of teaching children mythology. That is step 1 of how to raise a generation of fascists, right? This was something that the Nazis did heavily in the 30s and 40s, was they controlled the entire school system, and they lied to all the kids and taught them a false version of history that was like, oh yes, the Jews are the bad guys, Aryans, blah blah blah, Germany is amazing, we're so great, we're the super soldiers of the world, right? That's how you indoctrinate people. Now, I don't think it's going to work as much as well this time around because of the internet being a thing. But either way, that's what they're going for. This is textbook fascism, folks. I need you all to understand this, okay? So someone says, as I explained in an earlier essay for Salon, the white right's fictive version of critical race theory has little, if any, substantive relationship to the specialized academic approach to the study of social inequality described with the same term. As I wrote, the right's version of critical race theory is a type of racial bogeyman, also known as a boogeyman, or a psychological projection, a function of white racial paranoia about the browning of America and the threat of white genocide. Now, the census also announced that white people are on the decline, folks. That's right, we're losing them. The mainstream news media has largely moved on from this white supremacist attack on the country's educational institutions, and by implication an assault on truth and reality itself. This is another example of a much larger problem with the mainstream news media in America. As an institution, it is less interested in the truth and doing the work of pro-democracy journalism than in chasing the next shiny, horrible object and controversy. In turn, the American people en masse take their cues about what is important from the news media and other opinion leaders and agenda setters. So, in Tennessee, the state now proposes to levy fines beginning at $1 million on school districts where a teacher, quote, willingly violates prohibitions on discussing white privilege. $1 million on school districts if a single teacher says the term white privilege. What? 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 The white right's attempts to purge critical race theory and those who study and teach it are not peaceful. As with other moral panics, there is an emotional and financial violence and other harm inflicted on those deemed to represent a threat. To that point, teachers and other educators will lose their jobs for committing thought crimes because they dare to teach the truth about American history and its implications for the present. Educators who are committed to teaching America's real history are also experiencing fear and intimidation from being monitored in their classrooms as a pretext for firing them or inflicting other types of harm. The white right's attacks on critical race theory are already escalating to include both explicit and implied threats of physical violence. A recent fundraising email from Donald Trump Jr. on behalf of the 1776 Project PAC offers an ominous preview of the terrorism and other political violence that is being encouraged against those who dare to teach and study critical race theory. Trump Jr. begins by addressing a fellow patriot. There are people out there in the far-off corners of the world who hate everything that the USA stands for, and they have made it their life's work to destroy our country. But they're not who I'm worried about. I'm worried about the people right here in our own backyards who share the same hatred for our country as the terrorists hiding in the caves of Afghanistan. Because when President Lincoln said America will never be destroyed from the outside, if we lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. Lincoln was talking about the same people that Trump Jr. is representing. Like, he was talking about Confederates. He was talking about racists. He was talking about slave owners. The same through line, the same people that Lincoln was talking about are the same people writing this address positively saying that Lincoln was talking about the other side. The most dangerous threats to our republic aren't hiding in caves. They're hiding in plain sight in our K-12 classrooms. They're training the next generation to hate our country, hate our freedom, and hate our Constitution. Because they know the generation taught to hate our country from kindergarten to college will be the one that destroys it and surrenders us to socialism once and for all. Huh? The radical left has been quietly taking over local school boards, one community at a time, using their legions of teachers and radical union operatives as foot soldiers to overhaul our education system right under our noses. Space. They put Marxists in classrooms across the country, teaching children not how to think, but what to think. That's literally how schools have always been. The school systems in America have always not been about how to think, but about how to be a good drone. There's a reason why they don't teach you how to balance a budget in school. They don't want you to balance a budget. They want you to fall into debt so that they can profit off of you. There's a reason they don't teach you critical thinking. There's a reason that arts are underfunded in school. It's because they want to raise drones, workers. That's all they're interested in. That's all they've always been interested in. And now we are reaching finally a point where people want to actually prepare students for the real world. And that's being met with this backlash. You need to understand, the entire school system since its inception has been history has always been American mythology. I'm 25 years old. When I was in school, it was all 1492, Columbus and the apple and the fucking, and he had a smiley face in the pictures. It was never about genocide. It was never about, you know, killing off entire cultures. I never learned how to balance a budget. I never learned how to read a map properly. I never learned how to vote. I never learned how the branches of government worked other than what they are. They don't want you to know anything about how the world operates. They want you to just be well equipped to be the good little worker bee. That's what schools have always been. And that is the source of this backlash. So anyway, schools are no good, folks. First of all, we shouldn't even be having in-person schooling. But this is something you need to understand. This is, you know, Trump lost. And, question mark, that doesn't, there's a fucking fly in my rib. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden fascism went away. So, it's unbelievable. Yeah, we have to pledge to the flag every single morning. Hopefully everyone's having a good ass motherfucking ass son of a bitch in time. Hello, Catherine Elizabeth. Hello, Felix Cornelius. Hello, Mr. Freak Glitcher. Hello, Mila Resson. Hello, Paladin. Hello, Sal. How's the trip, bud? Hello, Chuck. Hello, Ali CIA. Hello, Counting Amberjacks. Hello, Jay Creates. Hello, Cornelius A. Not to be confused with Felix Cornelius. Hello, Rialon. Hello, Brian. Hello, Miss Pintail. Hello, Socialist Humanist. Hello, Tanky Humanist. Hello, Bob. Hello, Katie. Hello, Courtney. Hello, About to Sleep ZZZ. Hello, D. What's up? What's up? Hello, Matthew Strack Bean. Hello, Sophia. Hello, Jose. Hello, Andrew. Hello, Josh. What's up? Pretty good, mostly played Tekken and listened to music, then died during the oh god, yeah, yesterday's outro was really good. I did that specifically to spite a certain someone who might not like a certain clip. But that's their problem, not mine. So, everyone, hopefully y'all are having a good ass motherfucking ass. I mean, I really, you know, I appreciate the fact that y'all watch this fucking show. I mean, I really do. Like, it's incredible to me that people watch this show. Like, you're telling me human beings watch Above It All? What? For real? Like, okay, there are humans that exist on this planet that watch Above It All. That's incredible, folks. You're locked down, Sal? What the hell? Andrew, yes, I'm gonna cover that later. Walking on sunshine. You sent me a video. Where did you send the video? Haven't seen Carmody in a while. I hope they're okay. It's possible they hate me. I mean, that's the thing. Who knows? It's possible I made a mistake. Post it in the Scoops channel. Post it in the Scoops channel. Yes, I will be covering that too, Andrew. Oh yeah, Sal, you're in New Zealand, yeah? Oh, it's in the Scoops channel? Oh shit. Well, I'll look at it and then maybe cover it tomorrow. Because I've already got like some stuff I want to talk about, so. But I will check it out. I got you. Frickin' Scorp. Are you Scorp or is someone else Scorp? Who's Scorp? Who the fuck is Scorp? So on the subject of schools, here's what's going on in Tennessee. No school at Fairview Middle Friday, August 19th. Williamson County Schools. Hello Fairview Middle families and staff. This is Carol Birdsong calling. Birdsong calling. Interesting. Due to the inability to staff the building and classrooms because of faculty staff illness, Fairview Middle School will be closed tomorrow, Friday, August 20th, and will be using one of the stockpiled inclement weather days. There are 10 days built into the school calendar. This is the first inclement weather day used this school year, leaving 9 days for Fairview Middle. Remote learning is not an option this year because of new state guidelines. Today, 187 of the 560 students enrolled were out due to illness. Tomorrow, 23 of the 77 faculty and staff members assigned to Fairview Middle are scheduled to be out due to illness. For that reason, tomorrow, Fairview Middle will be closed and using an inclement weather day. Again, remote learning is not an option this year because of new state guidelines. Faculty and staff should follow their inclement weather protocols. So I remember August of 2020. And I remember making video after video after video about when schools were opening and how much of it was a disaster. So many people died over the course of winter because schools opened. And our country has not only not learned a lesson, but they've learned the wrong lesson. Where is Joe Biden? Why isn't Joe Biden doing a national executive order that demands that all schools be remote learning? Oh, I know why. because he's bought and paid for by corporations that want adults to send their children to daycare so that they can go out and be good little worker bees. That's what school is. It's daycare. Remote learning, while not perfect, is a lot better than killing hundreds of thousands of people potentially. But here we are. We are living in a world where if you have a child and you send them to school, it's possible you will die within 6 months. It's possible that your child will not even be able to go to school. What will happen if 60% of the school is destroyed by quote-unquote illness and they just shut down the school and they can't do remote learning? What is going on here? And again, this is in Tennessee. I believe, yeah. And I love how they stress remote learning is not an option this year because of new state guidelines. Where's Joe Biden? The federal government overpowers the state government. How come state governments are allowing? Like, where's Joe Biden when it comes to the mask mandate shit in Texas and Florida? Where is Joe Biden? Remember when Joe Biden said America was back and said he would handle the one thing that he said he would do was handle the pandemic? Where's Joe Biden? Where is he? What is he doing? Why isn't he handling this pandemic? Why isn't he shutting schools down? Why isn't he doing a national lockdown? Right, because he said there would be no more lockdowns. And instead of looking weak by reversing his opinion with new information, that's not being weak. That's called, oh, there's new information, let's change. That's like if you're driving at 80 miles per hour because the speed limit's 80, and then it lowers to 60, but you're still going 80. New information is available. You should actually learn from that information and reassess how fast you're going. But Joe Biden is nowhere to be found. He doesn't give a shit about any of this. He doesn't care. The federal government has abandoned us. We will not have another stimulus check. We will not have another lockdown. We are sacrificing our children to the gods of capitalism for no fucking reason. And with that being said, please give me money today on PayPal, Cash App, or Patreon. Thank you, folks. Thank you. I would just like to give everyone an update on the Bad Faith podcast scenario. Again, I'm doing a fundraising drive, folks, for those of you that don't know. Fundraising drive. So, folks, I've said this before. The Bad Faith podcast, it's no good. So how come they're making upwards of $28,000 a month? Where is Virgil, Texas? Does anyone know? Every day I talk about this, no one is telling me where he is. Can someone, if you're listening to this and you don't know what's going on, look up Virgil, Texas. What's going on with him? Where did he go? So we've got this podcast out here. It's called Bad Faith. One of them is just dumb as a shit fuck. The other is gone. They're making $28,000. Okay? Now, it looks like they've lost some support because I made a goal of that. This is the last time I updated the goal, $28,090. Now they're $27,994. So they lost about $100. But folks, I'm only making $380.93 out of $28,090. Now, again, I will readjust as time goes on. But folks, subscribe to the Patreon, even if it's just $1. Even if it's $2. Even if it's $200. We need to have this fundraising drive because I am an objectively smarter person than Brianna Joy Gray. I am objectively funnier than Brianna Joy Gray. And I am smarter than Brianna Joy Gray. Now, again, I'm not trying to go out there and say that she's done some great work Okay, I think. I don't know. I can't think of anything on the top of my head. But really, my main thing is, where is Virgil Texas? He hasn't done an episode in, 5 months? And is he still making half of this money? Is he still making $14,000 a month? Why would anyone be giving money to the Bad Faith podcast at this point? All they do is talk about Force the Vote and ignore where their co-host went. So folks, we're doing a fundraising campaign. $381, not enough. So feel free to give me money on Patreon today. If you think I'm a better show than the Bad Faith podcast, show it. Open your wallets. Skip a couple meals. Maybe stop feeding your kid for a couple days and give me the money that you would save. Thank you all. Have a good one. Oh my god, Bob, stop. I can't even say that out loud. I will very strongly consider starving to help you reach that. Thank you, Jay Creates. Thank you. Every dollar gets you closer to finding out where Virgil has gone. Absolutely. Am I going to buy a $2 million mansion someday? Hopefully. So, folks, for those of you that don't know, there is a strike going on. Nabisco is striking due to horrible working conditions, low pay, and just all around not good stuff, right? And I will cover this more probably going forward. But I saw this story, and I thought that this was so fascinating that I had to talk about it. On Wednesday, @Danny DeVito expressed solidarity with the check is back. Folks, the check is back. With striking Nabisco workers. No contracts, no snacks, he tweeted. Today, Twitter stripped him of his verified status. DeVito confirmed. So as you can see, they removed the verified check over this tweet. Now, apparently it's back. But for those of you that don't know what's going on, check out this little video, and I want to play this.
People can be forced to working up to 60, 70 days. I've personally worked 45 days in a row without a day off.
We want to be treated like we're people instead of like slaves.
The company has never given us anything, but corporate greed is taking everything away, and we'll be out here until we can stop corporate greed.
When you bite a Chips Ahoy, we bet you bite a chip.
Who can resist the golden, buttery, melt-in-your-mouth taste of a Ritz?
Oreo, unlock the magic.
Nabisco's parent company, Mondelez, made $3.5 billion in profit in 2020. Instead of sharing those profits, Mondelez is cutting pay and benefits for its factory workers.
Negotiation that were all takeaways. They wanted to take our overtime away. They wanted to put us on a 7-day work schedule, 12-hour days.
They currently want to change our overtime pay so that if you work all that time, you will end up eventually getting paid less for working that amount of time.
Mondelez has proposed ending overtime pay for 12-hour shifts, increasing mandatory weekend work with no premium pay, and raising healthcare costs for new hires.
Your impact going to be about a $40,000 a year loss for all the workers across the board.
They've actually closed 2 factories recently, and they don't disclose where the production's going, but we know it's going to Mexico.
Shuttered Nabisco factories in New Jersey and Atlanta earlier this year. They've spent $130 million on a new factory in Mexico.
It sucks. I just turned 55 years old. Got 37 years.
With the COVID-19, I don't know who's going to hire me right now.
Everything going to Mexico. All of it.
I grew up with Nabisco products. Oreo, cream and crackers, Chip Ahoy's. I knew they were made here. I knew they were made around the corner from where I live. To see those things go to another country where people are making less pay and the company's still making billions, it's disheartening.
I've been here since 1987, so I guess it'd be 34, 35 years. This company's actually squeezed everything out of it they could.
They don't even want us to step onto the grass of the property, so they're putting a fence up right on the property line. They're basically kicking the employees to the curb.
We want the community to support us. We want America to support us. We don't want you to buy Nabisco products, not during our strike. When we come back to work, we want you to support Nabisco products, but only Nabisco products made in America. If you read the back of the label, it will say made in America, or made in Mexico, or made in Canada. And we want to keep our jobs in America. We want to keep middle class. And right now, they're trying to destroy it all.
Nabisco workers are now on strike in Oregon, Colorado, and Virginia. So, folks, follow More Perfect Union on Twitter if you'd like. And again, the idea that Twitter would remove the check over this is just absolutely ridiculous. So, thanks to Danny DeVito for bringing that to some more national attention. And also, I'm just going to be honest. No one should be buying Nabisco products. You don't need Oreos. You don't need Chips Ahoy. They're not that good. Like, if you want to have a snack, and your first thought is, oh, I'm going to have some Chips Ahoy. I mean, there's, like, at that point, I mean, like, we need mental health overhaul. But that, I don't want to get sidetracked. You don't need to buy these things. They are superfluous. You do not need them in your life. Your health is at risk. And you're just working to destroy people's lives if you're supporting them during a strike. So I'm just saying, fuck Oreos. Fuck all that stupid-ass bullshit. Eat vegetables, eat fruits, and, support striking workers. That's all I have to say. All right, folks. We're getting into it. Folks, welcome to Sellout Saturday, Friday edition, and today we're going to be talking about Hasan Piker. Hasan hits back at Twitch outrage over him buying $2.74 million Hollywood home. So this is in a gossip magazine of some kind. Hasan Abi Piker hit back at the outrage about him buying a $2.74 million home in Hollywood, claiming everyone needs to, quote, collectively calm down, and telling haters to, quote, suck his dick. Whoa. Hasan's success reached new heights in 2021. He currently has 1.5 million followers and 50,000 active subscribers on Twitch, and the numbers keep on rising. So it's only natural that he'd cash in his chips and buy a new home. However, the internet erupted into a heated debate after an article reported his new home in West Hollywood cost him a whopping $2.74 million, which some people saw as hypocritical, given that he identifies as a socialist. It's not the first time this has happened either. Nicole Sanchez was criticized for purchasing a $2 million apartment. Wait, purchasing an apartment. Like, did she buy a whole complex? What? For the same reason. However, many people rushed to her defense, and they're doing the same for Hasan. He's also been hitting back at the haters himself. For the most part, that includes individual responses to fans claiming he's disingenuous, should donate a significant amount of money to charity, given his riches, and should keep advocating for higher taxes on the rich, including himself. Hassan has responded to this outrage. The essence of the argument against him is simple. Essentially, some Twitch fans feel like Hassan isn't practicing what he preaches, given that he apparently indulging in an expensive lifestyle. Many others have been calling him out on social media. They made various points about his situation, and he's been responding. In one example, he took a swipe at a user who claimed it was, quote, immoral for him not to donate a significant amount of money to charity given his wealth, claiming he donates money both publicly and privately. He wrote, I do donate. Some public, most not. However, this is a fucking brain-dead take that keeps dumbasses thinking Bill Gates is a good guy BTW. Many other comments followed, including one from a user who claimed buying mansions isn't how you solve social issues and accused him of only donating to charity to evade taxes. You really think doing my personal accounting is valid political critique? Hassan said in a deleted tweet. I bought a house for my family. It's also where I intend to stream every day. Why is this any of your king business? In the end, he said, everyone collectively needs to calm down, and those still after his head can, quote, suck, in brackets, his dick. He also joked about what kind of, quote, wonderful, intelligent discourse, unquote, would transpire if he decided to upgrade his car. So, folks, you ready for my take? You ready? All right, my take is I don't care. My take is I don't give a shit. Also, I love how he's responding. I think it's hilarious. So that being said, now, a lot of people also have pointed out that Jimmy Dore has also bought a $2 million home in California, right? And a lot of the people that love Jimmy Dore have been going after Hassan because Hassan doesn't like Jimmy Dore. And it's just been really, really entertaining to watch this whole thing. Now, again, some dude making a couple $1 million on Twitch, if you think that that is somehow such an assault on democracy compared to Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, etc., having all the money in the world, all these major multinational corporations, right, that are destroying our water supply, destroying our planet with greenhouse gases, right? If you think that Hassan Piker is more of a problem than that, then I've got news for you. You're a dumbass. Now, that's not to say that a lot of people criticizing Hassan actually think that. But, the thing is here, people are allowed to have personal ambitions. People are allowed to have personal wealth, right? I don't care. I genuinely don't care. Now, that being said, I don't watch Hassan Piker's show. I don't care about his show. That's not my thing. I think he's cringy. I think his jokes, for the most part, are cringy. I think Twitch culture is cringy. I think the audience that he manages to craft, I think, is cringy. Everything about him, for the most part, I think is cringy. Now, I like how he's responding to this, but, you know, I mostly think it's cringy. Now, Hassan also's personal politics, now, to my understanding, they haven't changed. But if someone wants to say in a year from now that he's drifting more toward the center, okay, I'll hear that argument. But my thing is, I don't give a shit. I really just don't give a shit. It's a valid critique to say that he should donate his time and money and stuff to charity. Yeah, I do think so. But, now again, if I were in this position, right, I would act differently. I hope. Maybe. It's possible I would act differently. I would like to assume I would act differently. But, I mean, you know, that's the same thing. Like, if I had access to this kind of money, you know, it's possible I would buy a home like this, right? It's possible that I would set myself up in an extremely comfortable lifestyle. But once I'm at an extremely comfortable lifestyle, right, I would feel no need to expand even further, right? That's the thing, is like, my politics are more direct action and organizing oriented, right? I would go, you know, I would spend my money in better ways. That's just all I'm saying. After buying this house. So my thing is, if you want to live comfortably after working for whatever amount of time and you become successful, fine. But I am more concerned with how he goes forward, right? If he buys like a second mansion, if he buys like a vacation home, if he buys like, you know, a $60 million yacht, then I'm going to be more, I'm going to be more concerned with that kind of behavior. But him wanting to live comfortably, I mean, again, I don't give a shit. That being said, again, I don't watch his show. But a lot of people ask my take on this. I don't care. As long as his politics are good, that's all I care about. I don't like his I don't like his chat room culture. I don't like his joke styles for the most part. But again, a lot of people have been also comparing this to Jimmy Dore, which also bought a very similarly priced mansion. And Jimmy Dore, the problem with Jimmy Dore is he's a right-wing fascist who's trying to get people to stop going out and protesting. He's trying to get people to stop direct organizing. And his actions are very grifty. His actions are 100% involved in making as much money for himself as possible. I don't see that with Hassan. And now, I could be wrong, and people could send me information to correct that. But I have no problem with them, with anyone buying a house for themselves and their family. I have a problem with, if their politics are bad, that's where my problem is, right? And also, again, if you want to set yourself up, and that way you, like, let's say if you set yourself up and you have a mansion and you can spend, you have, like, let's say you have a whole room dedicated to, like, I don't know what people would do with all these rooms, but besides, like, decorate them with video games and fucking, like, posters and have, like, dogs. Like, let's say Max the dog would get his own room. Like, I don't know what they would do. Like, that seems excessive to me, but it's just me. But yeah, at the same time, I don't really care about any of this. But a lot of people ask my opinion on it, so I thought I'd weigh in. But I'm more interested in how he goes forward, right? Because the way I see it, once you've got a home, that's a big initial investment, right? And then if you continue making millions and millions, you're not, like, it's not like you're going to buy another home, unless you do. And then that's, I think, if you have 2 homes, that's a little weird, right? But, once you buy a home, I feel like that's, like, the main thing that you'd buy with this kind of money. So, like, if he goes forward and spends a lot of his money on, like, more charity projects or does more personal projects that are helping people, that's cool. I don't give a shit. Like, it's like, Bernie Sanders has, a somewhat nice-looking lake house, right? And he sold a couple of books and made $1 million or $2 million, right? But he still is advocating for people, and he spends his time and energy advocating for people. So, like, again, it's all about how you scrape off the top on that one. But also, another aspect is, like, living in a socialist world, everyone would have access to this kind of house and this kind of lifestyle and more, right? You need to understand the difference between 2 million, right, and 200 billion is huge versus the difference between 2,000 or 200 and 2 million, right? The corporations that control the world, if we redistributed the resources to the entire planet, we could all live in luxury like Hassan Piker is. I'm just saying. Like, if we actually had a communist world, if we actually redistributed wealth evenly among the entire human population, Hassan Piker's house would look like shit. It would look like garbage. People would go like, oh, you're living in that? That hovel? That pile of shit? That's what people would be saying if we evenly distributed resources of this planet amongst ourselves evenly. That's my opinion, okay? And when you look at the facts and how much, how many resources exist on this planet, how much wealth is being hoarded, etc., 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 when you look at that, you'll see Hassan Piker buying a nice house is the least of our concerns. I think this is more of an issue with consumerism more than anything. Why do we even need $2.5 or $166 million estates? Why is that even a thing? I agree. I agree with that as well. And let me go off on that as well. I think the whole lawn culture is ridiculous. I don't care about having a lawn. I don't. Now, I understand why, I can see wanting to have 10 rooms or, like, a nice big living room or a nice big TV. I get that. That's actually, like, I can use that. Right? But having a nice expansive lawn that I have to pay someone to keep up, what? Right, having, like, fucking multiple acres of, like, fucking, like, grass. Why would I pay money for that? I don't want that. Like, I would rather live in a giant skyscraper and have, like, a bunch of rooms to myself than be in that environment where I have to pay someone to fucking mow my lawn. I don't want to pay someone to mow my lawn. I don't want to mow my own lawn. I'm not interested in that. I think the main thing we need to get rid of is lawn culture. Fuck lawn culture. Now, having a garden. All right, I'm down with having a garden. That's actually using the land. But having grass, I mean, fuck grass. Like, if you want to have a garden or a farm, great, let's get it. But grass, I mean, like, all these people have, like, these giant estates where there's, like, miles of grass. Like, Bro, use that for something. Like, you know what? It's an incredible waste of space. And so that again, that's my opinion. If we built like let's say vertically skyscrapers, right? And we had like a giant, collections of them, right? And we just, instead of having lawn culture, we just let the rest of the environment take control, and then we can make our society way cooler. Like, play Minecraft for like a couple 100 hours and you can come up with a better way to organize society than what we've got right now. That's all I'm saying. My right-wing neighbor is obsessed with his lawn. I mean, fuck grass, dude. All my homies hate grass. Why do you think so many people are afraid to touch grass? It's because it sucks. Anyway, folks, that is the show for today. Look at my teeth, man. This is how you know I'm a poor motherfucker. This is how you know I'm not faking it. Like, look at this shit. Like, that's how you know. Like, you might be thinking, oh shit, what if Andrea's just pretending to live in a messy room? What if she's pretending to be poor? Nope, just look at the teeth, baby. That's all you need. You're not talking about yesterday's DC bomber? I haven't looked into it enough yet, to be honest. I would rather cover it tomorrow once I've looked into it more. So I can do a better segment. If y'all want to send me, like, more info, though, like, videos and all that stuff, like, of, like, his personal stuff and his Facebook likes and all that, and then I'm going to read it over the next, because I read a little bit, but it was a developing story yesterday, so I'm going to look into it more over the course of the day and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, someone tried to blow up, like, the Library of Congress or something. Ridic, folks. Ridic. Alright, folks, alright, folks, that's the show.
They weren't coming because they couldn't get in. Once they think they can get in, they're coming, and they are coming at levels that you haven't even seen yet. Levels that you haven't even coming at levels that you haven't even seen yet. Are coming at levels that you haven't even seen yet. Are coming at levels that you haven't even seen yet. Coming, and they are coming at level. They're coming, and 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 get in. They're coming, and they are coming at levels that you get in. They can 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 get in. They weren't coming because they couldn't get in. 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 Once they think they can get in, they're coming, and they are coming at levels that you haven't even seen yet.
I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.
Early in the morning, they went to the table. Early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe, the black shield, the black shield, and they pulled out the votes.
Watch Hillary examine the terrain. Watch a campaign with the man Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine. Watch Hillary examine the terrain. Examine the terrain. Examine the terrain. Watch a campaign with the man Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine in the membrane.
You will file articles of impeachment against President Joe Biden.
I liked beer. I still like beer. But I did not drink beer to the point of blacking out. I liked beer. I liked beer. I liked beer. I still like beer. I still like beer.
It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words.